Welcome to the Wheels and Wings podcast. Wynne has just spilt some San Miguel, and he's coming back over to the microphone.
I'm here.
There you go. This is episode 16, I believe.
Yes.
It's pretty good, isn't it?
Very good.
I've also not been any day this weekend. I've not really been pissed, which is great.
Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah.
But, you know, we're doing what we said. We're chilling out a bit on the booze, like, you know. Last few weeks, I've not sort of blacked out at all.
I've been waiting
really
for today.
Yeah. Cheers, mate.
Cheers, mate. How's your week been?
Yeah, it's all right.
People are liking the podcast, Ben.
Mad, isn't it?
Yeah. We've had a huge influx of people.
A huge acid reflux of people.
Yeah.
Thanks very much for subscribing, pressing the subscribe button. I've been reading a lot of your comments as well. They're all very good. Yeah. Very interesting to see your input, so keep doing that, please. And yeah, it's a bit of fun. I mean, this is, you know, for me personally, the one job that I do where I don't get covered in shit. So
Never say never.
Never say.
I had a chili last night.
Or is Mr. Blobby going to run out and like gunge me or something? Yeah. Which is really nice. I can go home and edit this and I'm clean, which is nice. And it does break up my week from the workshop and stuff like that. So I do really enjoy it. So thanks very much for getting on board if you've been, you know.
Yeah. And a thank you from me. I've had quite a few people send me their email address and as willing early readers of my book. So thank you. I really do appreciate that. That's great.
Yeah, excellent. How long till that's ready?
About 3 or 4 weeks, I think. Need enough potential reviewers before I stick it on Amazon.
Nice, okay.
Yeah, the book's finished. Yeah.
Brilliant.
As some of these guys will know, they have it.
Do you want me to proofread it? Check for any spelling mistakes?
No, it's done, thanks.
Okay, cool.
Is that your strong suit?
No.
Detail.
Well, I have always been pretty good at spelling, which may come as a shock.
Not
but
at all.
No, cheers, mate. But yeah, no, I've always did okay at spelling. Everything else, shocking.
Well, you went to university, didn't you?
No, they wouldn't have me in universities.
None of them universities.
No, they wouldn't like me up there. No, I just did 3 AS levels in college.
Okay.
And this is a brief rundown of how they went. So I did law.
Did you?
For 3 months.
Okay.
And then it got to a point where I realised that law is a memory game.
Oh, okay.
So it's all about, like, this case file from 1996. You've got to remember these things. It's all about remembering cases, remembering laws and stuff. And I've got the worst memory in the world. Yeah. My memory's absolutely shocking due to years of strong drug abuse. So I quit. I was just like, I was like, I'll Google it instead, because that's all I really took. That's all I really took law for, was to just have a bit of knowledge. You know, knowledge is power.
You wanted
isn't it?
To be able to say it. Didn't you?
Yeah. And then but then fucked that off. Then I did business studies.
Okay.
Flew through that, did really well, and then I did English language. And English language, loved English language, but all came crashing down on me because I was going to continue into the second year of the A levels. But obviously I dropped out of law, and then I only had English language and business studies, which would have been fine. But the English language, we were all sat in the pub before my exam. All the exams were at different times, so the idea was that we all have a big table in the pub and we just come and go from our exams, and we just sit there all day and chat and stuff.
Yeah.
And this was back in the day of Nokia 3210s and all this sort of stuff, 3310s, and you could change the profiles on those, right? So if you selected loud, you could change what loud meant. If you selected silent, you could change what silent meant. If you selected vibrate, you could change what vibrate meant. You know, just like all the different things you could say. So I go to the toilet, leave my phone on the table. While I'm in the bog, my mate Dan, who weirdly isn't my mate anymore, but no, not because of this, he took my phone and he changed the silent setting to ring as loud as possible.
Oh, man.
Brilliant gag. However, so anyway, so we're like, yeah, great. Anyway, so I came back in, right, my exam's next, finish pint, run into the exam. Because the college was right next to the pub, conveniently. I think it should always be like that. There should always be a pub built next to a college. Anyway, it was called the Nelson in Stockport. If anybody knows the Nelson in Stockport, wicked boozer. And then so I get into the exam, I sit down, I'm roughly 10 minutes in, Dan rings my phone from the pub. So I'm in the exam, and it's one of those things, where like someone's phone's going off, and you're looking around like, someone's gonna get a fucking bollocking now. What fucking idiots left the phone on? And you're sort of looking around, and like everybody's looking at you, and you're like,
mine's on silent.
Can't possibly be mine. I literally just put it on silent when I came in, and then you pull it out your pocket, and there it is, ringing loud as fuck, and like 3 of the sort of teachers, tutors, whatever they are, came over. Right, get your stuff. And I was like, sorry. I saw it was Dan, and I just put 2 and 2 together. And I was like, I think my mate's just pissed about. He's in the pub. Get your stuff. Go on. You're disturbing the thing. Oh, fuck. So grabbed all my gear out of the exam hall. Stood outside, and I was like, I think I was just in the pub. I think my mate's fucked about my phone. I was looking at this because I thought, have I not put it on silent? It's like, yeah, I put it on silent. He's fucked about it. They were like, okay, that's fine. Yeah, no worries. And I was like, so what happens now? Is it, well, you can resit
next year.
Next year.
What?
And I was like, well,
that's harsh.
but I was like, but can I not do it next week or something?
10
or
minutes in.
Yeah, can I do it next week or something? Oh no, you got to do the whole thing again. I'm like, what do you mean the whole thing? The whole first year again?
Wow.
I was like, wow, okay.
Harsh.
So I was like, right.
Because you could have just switched your phone off, and that was the end of that, wasn't it?
Yeah. Lesson learnt there. But yeah, so essentially I got, I just completely, there was no record of the English language. And even though all the coursework that I'd done, all the other stuff, everything, zilch.
That's harsh.
So if I went back to do an A level in business studies, I'd have still been doing AS level English. So I was like, tell you what, I'll go and be a fucking car salesman instead.
Think about that.
Yeah.
They didn't care.
They didn't care. The teachers enjoyed it. They enjoyed telling me that I'd be, another year.
That's really bad. The only equivalent sort of exam thing I've got in ground school. So with the US Air Force in Texas, the first sort of 3 months, you do a lot of, it's called ground school. It's all the systems and all of
Is that learning how to drive the little tugs that pull the planes around?
No. Oh. So just how the hydraulic system works and all the...
Have you ever driven one of those?
No.
That's weird.
Why? That wasn't my job.
Well, yeah, but surely you'd have you'd have a go of everything, wouldn't you? You're just like, because you're there, aren't you?
Tomorrow, we're gonna be a fireman. No, it doesn't work like that. So we're in this exam in Texas, and it was called the Euro-NATO Joint Jet Pilot Training School. So there was 13 different nations there.
Wow, okay.
They had 5 Air Force bases that did undergraduate pilot training. But this was the only one that all the different European nations went to. The other ones were purely for the US Air Force. So to get into this particular one, NJEBT, it was quite prestigious for the Americans. So there was a lot of but they'd come through the US Air Force Academy, and they were weird. They're weird. They're like indoctrinated weird. They spent 3 years in the Air Force Academy in Colorado, and they were just I don't know what it was, just brainwashed. And they had a thing called the honor code.
Right.
And the honor code was, if you spotted somebody cheating, you put your hand up and told on them. And so
grass code.
Grassing.
Wow.
Fucking stool pigeons. And so we were in the first exam, and we had a load of Norwegians in our class. And sort of it's like, gentlemen, open the paper, carry on, you have 1 hour to complete this exam. This was started, and the Norwegian guy in front of me, he looked at the question, leaned back and went, "Hurdy good?"
What, to his mates?
Yeah, hurdy-gurdy. And it's like this red-faced American, like after 3 of these sessions, shot his hand up. He went, "Sir, this man is cheating."
Whoa!
And it's like these Norwegian guys like, "What the fuck?" fucking's wrong with you? How are we going to pass?
Wow.
Yeah, very different culture. To clash of cultures there.
Yeah, American school in general, college and stuff, is fucking weird, isn't it? Like, you see on the films and stuff, it's a very strange sort of place, I think.
But it was this whole thing where, yeah, they had the honour code. Yeah, we didn't have any honour.
Yeah,
So, can we talk about, I don't know if we're allowed to, but can we talk about your up-and-coming guest appearance at a significant event in Warwick?
So I was asked to be a guest speaker, which is the first time that's ever happened to me, which is cool.
Yeah. It's really cool.
It is cool, and do you know what, Wynne? It's about fucking time.
Yeah.
No, it's really cool,
Yeah.
and I'm very honoured to be asked, because it's a festival called Rustival,
Yeah.
which celebrates all cars, which is awesome. And they do 2 a year, and the early one in the year was massive, absolutely massive. It was huge, one of the biggest ones in the UK. And we're like, wow, fucking hell, this is great.
By what metric? What number of people attending? Number of cars? How?
They use the British Car Museum in Warwick as their spot.
Warwick, okay.
So they have the British Car Museum is surrounded by very, very large car parks.
Yeah.
And they call them all areas, so you've got like the Vanden Pla area and all this sort of stuff, which is really cool.
Nice.
And they're all completely full. They pack the whole thing out, and it's just a real, and it's not just run by sort of one, YouTube or one sort of company or anything. It's run by 3 really big YouTubers.
Yeah.
You got Hubnut, iDriver Classic, and Furious Driving.
Yeah.
And it is there's quite a lot of sort of big guys there, like the editor of Classic Car Weekly, I think, is going to be the one interviewing me on stage.
Hang on. Classic Car, the one with like a green band across the top?
Yeah, I think it's that one. Yeah, I'm not 100% sure.
And they're going to interview you?
Yeah, so he's going to ask me questions.
Love it.
I don't know what sort of questions he asked me. Hope it's nothing technical, because what nobody realises is I just Google it all. I've got it on my phone before I do anything. It's like how to change spark plugs. Yeah.
Watching some YouTube video of how to take the rocker box cover off of MG Midget.
Sump plug location.
Yeah. Oh, that is amazing. But so, what's the guest speakery bit then?
I don't fucking know. I don't know. They just said, "Do you want to do it?" And I was like, "Yeah, man. I'll just do it on the day, innit? Wing it.
Cuff it.
Yeah, it'll be fine."
I'm coming.
Are you going to come?
Of course, I'm going to come.
Be amazing if you do. So, I'm sure there's going to be 1 or 2 listeners that listening to this now, or watching this now, that are probably going to, hopefully come as well. So come and say hello. Come find Wynne. Come and say hello to Wynne.
Yeah, we'll get some Wheels and Wings merch done before then.
Nice. Yeah. So yeah, it's going to be really good. I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be the 28th of September.
Oh, it's not long ago. We won't have merch.
No. Maybe next year. And it's on from 10 a.m. till 3 p.m.
Yeah, definitely. That'd be cool.
Really good, yeah. And it'd be nice, to have a look around the museum and stuff as well. Maybe for, another base for us to do one of our sort of on the road things, which we're struggling with a little bit at the moment, because fucking hell, like tech. It's just a fucking nightmare. That. So we've got like a 3rd microphone there as a backup, just in case these ones fuck up. Constantly having to adjust things on the laptop and things, just to try and get the sound quality as good as I can. But I haven't got a fucking clue what I'm doing, so it's really complicated. Yeah. Everything's really expensive, so I'm trying to nail it down. And these, just today when we were in these, one of the microphones fucked up, one of the little radio mics, and that was going to be one that we use on our external sort of things. I'm hopefully going to do a warranty claim on that. We'll get some new ones, and then it'll all be fine.
Yeah, because there's a few good places. There's really like the idea of Carnarvon Aviation Museum.
Nice, yeah.
Mainly because it's about an hour and a half away, which is good. But there's, if we can get at it, because when I looked at it...
Are you thinking separate cars?
No.
Oh, okay.
I want to go in the car with you.
Okay, cool.
Something interesting.
Can I sit in the back while you drive?
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
That's good. Driving Miss Daisy. Well, we can probably talk bollocks on the way.
Yeah, we could do,
if the microphones work. Because they have a Hawk T-Mark 1 there.
Nice.
And it's
so that was the one that you flew the most.
Yeah.
So I'll be interested to see that.
Yeah. So they've got one there with a specific paint job. There was a friend of mine called Joey Diacon, and the display pilot every year gets to choose his paint scheme for the season.
Oh, nice.
And he'd have
That's
2
cool.
jets done in that paint scheme.
Nice.
And this particular one, it really. I'll put a picture of it up.
What would yours have been? Like floral, like your shirt?
Yeah, I think all flowers. I think that would be good.
Yeah.
So his was, he went for a hot rod look. So it was like the nose was yellow and it went into like orange flames, sort of halfway back on the.
Yeah, my first ever car, I painted flames on the side. Like
really?
On the wheel arches like that. Yeah.
So he went for that look, but nobody had ever done anything like that. It was always big. So I will put up a series of different Hawk paint jobs that were done over the years.
Nice.
And you'll see this one was nothing like any of the others. And the purists were going, "Oh, what's that? You know, where's the Union Jack on it? Or where's the..."
Yeah.
And it, because it was this blob of yellow on the nose, it became the custard strike jet. It looked like he'd hit a massive custard. But anyway, brilliant. That particular jet I like because we went to Malta and I flew the spare, and I've got pictures at like 40,000 feet on the way to over France that I've taken of that jet, and it's in Carnarvon, so it's quite cool.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Well, considering you're doing more on the social media, I'm hoping people are,
I'll get it on.
cottoning onto that.
Oh, you don't need to keep saying that. I'm doing it.
So it is Wynne you're speaking to directly when you reply to those things on Instagram. I'd be interested to see those. It'd be nice to put those up.
Yeah, well,
it'd be really cool.
But it'd be nice to
Saves
see
me having
it.
to try and fucking edit them into this as well.
Yeah, there is that.
Yeah, there is that.
So that'd be nice. It'd be nice to go down to Carnarvon Aviation Museum. The other one...
I flew over that.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, so
on your lesson?
Well, wasn't it? Taste experience day, like my uncle got, and then went there and he was like, "You can do it." And then I went up, and then the guy was like, "You've now got control," and I was like, "Have I though?
Have
I?
Really?
Because if I did, I'd fucking stones into that castle down there, into that river." But no, it was really good. Flew over Carnarvon Castle and stuff. It was pretty sweet.
Cool. So that, and the other place
gave me a thirst for flying that I've never been able to sort of...
that you ignored completely.
Yeah, never been able to come anywhere close to again. Like.
That happened to me with sailing. For my 40th birthday...
got a sailing experience.
Yeah, but bought for me by a load of the guys at RF Valley. A load of the pilots got together and said, we've got you this, and it's like, thanks very much. Open an envelope and it says 2-day sailing course at...
No way.
Oh, what is it called? It's on the Menai Straits. They've got like a water... they do all sorts of windsurfing, sailing, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, that's cool.
At the time, I really liked it. Sailing those very, very small, tiny little toppers or something like that. It's really small things. The giveaway for me was, they said, "Oh, and here's your wetsuit." I said, "Why do I need a wetsuit?"
Yeah.
I thought we were sailing. Yeah, you'll fall in a lot. So, but it was actually...
I'd be turning up with my sunglasses on, my sort of white flannel shirt.
Yeah.
Like,
I've seen the Duran Duran video.
Cooler full of beer, well, I can't wait for this.
Yeah,
one.
this is going to be
great,
amazing. Yeah.
Who's wearing that fucking wetsuit? I'm saying, no, it's not going to be me.
That's exactly. But it was amazing, and I came away from there buzzing and thinking, yeah, I'm into this now. Never did it again. Never did.
Wow. Okay.
Did it for 2 days. Never again. I guess you can't do everything, can you?
No, you can't. I kind of like boats and stuff. Yeah, I think boats and stuff's pretty cool. I like going on a boat, ferry. The small ones, maybe a little boat with like an engine on the back. I used to do some repairs on outboards and things, and just like the whole idea behind it. It's pretty cool.
So, done a little...
But again, never done it.
A bit of sailing. So, there used to be an annual sailing event from RAF Valley.
Right.
So there was a tri-service, so Army, Navy, Air Force sailing place at Gosport on the south coast. And they had these sailing boats, so they had about 5 or 6 of them, called a Victoria 34, as in 34 foot long.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
And this is a good story, actually. And what you used to do was you'd have a skipper plus 6 people. That's right. The skipper plus 6 people would go to Gosport, and then they'd sail across to, in this case, to Brest in northern France via... It's not funny. God, you're such a child. Via the Channel Islands, along the north coast of France and into Brest. And we'd stay at the Naval Officer Club. Then we'd take 3 Hawks with 6 people, fly into the naval base they call Landavisio, and it's not funny.
Naval
base. And and then have a weekend, part the Hawks up, then there were a weekend with 13 of us getting absolutely slaughtered in the Naval Officers Club in Brest.
Yeah.
And then...
did you see any Brests while you were over there? Did you go out and... Well, you're getting all fucked up with your pilot mates. Do you go out to bars and stuff and try and sort of... Do you...
Anyway, and then...
No, seriously, you know, because if I had all the gear in that, I would be straight out to the nearest pub and I'd be like, I'm a pilot. Any birds in here
it was exactly the opposite. You weren't allowed to say the only way when you were single, obviously, you could pull was by you had to tell a young lady that you were anything other than a pilot.
Oh wow. So it's like that's cool, that's fun.
I told one woman that I was the inventor of the hobnob biscuit.
Brilliant, yeah. Amazing.
And a mate of mine was a dolphin trainer. It actually worked for him really well.
I can imagine.
But you weren't. That was verboten. You were not allowed to say what you did. So that's
hilarious.
Yeah, it's very British. It's like so anti-Top Gun, isn't it?
Yeah. I've done similar things when me and I have gone to like Liverpool or something like that, and we will like we're on the train down. You're bored. You're like. What should we be like? What should we do?
What should we be?
And then you'll just make up like like right, you're this, you're that. Once I did it. Honest to God, true story. I do quite a good Geordie accent. I'm not going to do it now, and this was a long time ago when I had a bit more confidence.
Does it sound like Eddie Hall with a Geordie accent?
Yeah, it does. So yeah, it's pretty good at doing a Geordie accent. So. Ended up meeting these girls, and we never pulled anyway. So we were just like, it didn't really matter. You could say whatever you wanted to these girls because it didn't really matter. You never end up fucking pulling them anyway. So I started with Geordie accent, from up there, by doing stuff like I can't remember what I said I did. Anyway, quite annoyingly, did I end up actually pulling her. So the whole night. The whole night.
You're going to be a Geordie forever.
Geordie accent, right? Fucking, and it still haunts me a little bit to this day, really. So, like, all night Geordie accent, and I'm like, fuck, I'm going, walking over to it, fuck,
oh, we in shape, man.
I think I'm fucking in there. And anyway, ended up pulling her, snogging her, and she was like, should we go back to mine? And I was like, fucking right, let's go. And then went back to hers and like inside, but thankfully it was like I was a lot younger, so she lived with her parents and keeping quiet and all that sort of stuff. And like, so it
details, please.
Wasn't too much of a problem. And then like it wasn't like an in the morning thing. I was like, right, I'm going to escape, sort of, maybe 2:00, 3:00, something like that. And then like got her details, got number and everything. Wake up the next day and I'm like, I really like this girl. I really like this girl, because I fucking pulled this girl. Great night, had an amazing time, just, like fell in love with her. It was fucking brilliant. And the next day I was sitting there going, fuck, I'm not a Geordie though. So the whole night I was like, fucking hell. And like she was messaging me, I was just like, and I was messaging back in a Geordie accent.
Are we?
Yeah, So, and yeah, just had to pyre. Just had to completely pyre.
Hoisted by your own petard.
Hoisted by my own petard. Devastated though. I was just like, because who knows? We could have been married and everything now, couldn't we? But no, just
with
like
a Geordie accent forever.
Like one of those people that wake up with a Jamaican accent just after a head injury. But yeah, really, really frustrating. Like really annoying.
So
yeah, I was probably only, I must have been 18, 19 or something then. Hilarious.
That's brilliant.
Really good.
So back to the Naval Officer Club in Brest is like 8 stories high.
Yeah.
And we're in this room, and there's like 13 people, the skipper plus the 6 who'd sailed from Gosport to Brest, and then the 6 who are about to, sail back. And I was going to do the return sailing journey, so I'd flown in, and into Landavisiau, and got absolutely trolleyed like for the weekend with the 13 of us. So much fun.
What are you drinking?
What were we drinking?
Yeah.
Beer, I think. I can't remember. I don't think it was like a big. Anyway, I can't remember. It's a long time ago, but I remember being in bed, sharing this room with a guy called Chris Taylor, and somebody's banging on a window. I was like, oh, fuck's sake, who's banging on a window? I opened the curtains, and it was this Navy guy. What's his name? Anyway, it doesn't matter. But he was banging on the window, and it's like, Leslie. He's really drunk. I said, oh, you drunken twat. And then Chris said, we're on the fucking 7th floor.
Amazing.
So I opened the window, hauled him in, and he thought it'd be really funny to like get out of his room, like and shimmy across this like brutalist concrete building.
That is
and like
funny.
knock on our window.
That
and
is
like the
hilarious.
next morning, he was ashen. He went,
Yeah.
I could be dead. I could be dead. I said, he's going, oh, that's it. I'm not drinking anymore. But anyway, he's fine.
Fucking hell.
So the last bit of this thing was, so we jump in the boat, and when the boat comes in, we dip into a few places. Oh, there's another thing. So we had the doctor with us, Doc Hargreaves.
Okay.
Is a fucking legend in his own lunchtime. This guy so he did our aviation medicals.
Yeah.
He'd go in, and when you came to the bit, there's two things.
And cough.
All that stuff. Yeah. But he was like always in the mess, always wankered. He was through the best parties. Absolutely amazing guy. And the things like you come to, like, how much do you drink? And before you could answer, you go, less than me. All that sort of stuff. And one year I I didn't smoke anyway, but I gave up drinking for 6 months because I was getting pains in my back. I think I've just got to. Yeah. And this is our doctor looking out for our health.
It was a busy Christmas period, though, wasn't it?
It was a business. It was busy. And so he said, he's like looking at his paper. He's going, "Do you smoke?" I went, "No." He said, "Do you drink?" And he went to go, "Less than me." And I went, "Oh, I've stopped drinking." Actually, he went, "Fuck me. Do you make your own dresses?"
Amazing.
Which is really good. So he came on this sailing trip.
Yeah.
He turns up at the jet, and he's got like all his kit in a bin bag, and I'm going, "Doc, what the fuck?" Because he's in my jet, he's in the back seat.
What's up, Doc?
And he said, "Oh, it's all in there, like, so it's all in there." And you remember, bin bags were a lot stronger, but it was a bin bag. That's all it was.
Yeah.
So anyway, we were laughing about this because there's a container under the jet. It's where the empty.
The jump leads and stuff.
No, where the shells, but so where you fly the cannon. So
the empties
go into this big
that's cool.
box, but you can drop it down. But we used to put our like bags in there when we weren't firing anything. Yeah. So put it in there. It's fine. You get there, and he's carrying this bin bag around through the hotel. Everybody's laughing. It's like, Jesus, the doc's mental, isn't he?
Yeah.
And he's one of those people is like his brain was just too big. He wasn't very good with normal shit.
How to transport clothes and toiletries.
And like being on time, and his tie was always over here, and it's like it's just brilliant. Love him. And we get to the boat on the Monday morning, all massively hungover. and we go down the steps, like the ladder into the Victoria 34. He catches his bin bag on the top of the ladder, and it like rips.
That's why you don't use bin bags, isn't it?
Yeah, that's. But for the next 5 days, it was like, Doc, is this yours? It's like, oh, thanks very much. I was looking for that. I couldn't find my other sock. Because your fucking kit's everywhere, mate. It's like from stern
Imagine if
to
the engine
back.
was still on it, just blew it all down the runway.
So that was the first thing, like shambolic.
Brilliant.
But on about day 3, we're going, Doc, you fucking stink, mate. What's going on? And he went, he said, are you guys showering? I said, yeah, where do you think we go when we get... Oh, I thought it was a Boise trip. And it's like, get in the fucking shower, mate.
Jesus Christ, fucking hell. Maybe he hadn't bought all of his stuff.
You're a doctor. It's like, absolutely amazing. So he had socks
good.
from stern to bow, and was like, we had to make him get in the shower.
So good. Brilliant. I just going to go and grab something.
There is another bit to that. So the last part about that sailing trip, I just thought we were... we got to the Channel Islands, and the last leg was across the channel to Gosport at night, and we would take it in turns. So it'd be 2 people on deck, like strapped in, and the weather was like properly fucking horrendous.
What do you mean strapped in?
Well, you can fall over, can't you? So like you have a little tie-on thing.
Oh, okay.
Especially with the military, you can imagine how everything has to be quite safe.
That's it.
So there's me and this guy Chris Taylor up on deck, and it was properly. So it's all set up by somebody who knew what they're doing, and they said, "Look, you've got 2 hours. It's fine. Just stay on this course. You don't know what you're doing, so don't do anything. Give me a shout." The skipper said, "Give me a shout." A lovely guy, actually, topped himself, Nick.
Hell.
Yeah, covered himself in petrol and burned himself.
Shit!
Yeah.
You're joking.
Yeah, but anyway.
What the fuck? Why did he do that?
Oh well, that's a whole nother thing. So he was in the married quarters.
Whatever story you were about to tell. It's not as interesting as this. So
A lovely guy and
lovely guy,
ex-Navy guy, joined the RAF.
Anyway, back to this ship. His clothes were everywhere. Fucking hell.
Yeah, no, but to cut a long story short, lovely guy, but he was in married quarters. He was always the skipper, so he's a very good sailor.
Right.
And he went on one of these sailing trips, and one of the young non-commissioned senior aircraftswomen who were like really young, like 18, 19, stunning, absolutely stunning, went on the sailing trip and basically had an affair with her, left his wife and kids for her, and then she was a bit of a social climber, and then she moved on to another pilot, so he topped himself. Yeah, not in a quiet way.
Yeah, that's a really weird way of doing it.
Yeah,
especially having access to all that gear that I'd imagine you'd have. If he was if he knew how to like fly a boat or drive a plane or something.
He'd
do something crazy.
He wasn't allowed to
set yourself on fucking fire.
I know.
Do you think he's a fucking monk or something? Fucking hell.
So anyway, there we are, halfway across the channel.
And I wouldn't dwell on this. Did he make a big scene out of it? Was it like in front of everybody, or was it just like
off in the?
Was it 100%? He definitely did it. It wasn't like it wasn't like he was.
Definitely,
nobody had gone after him. Or anything.
Definitely. Yeah, as far as he was concerned, sadly, there was no way back. He'd sort of.
Wow.
So which is really sad because there always is. There's always a way back, and nothing's worth that.
Women have a tendency to completely fucking melt your brain, and just destroy your brain, and make you do stupid things and make you think completely irrationally.
Yeah.
But setting yourself on fire is a bit fucking much.
Bit extreme, isn't it?
It is a bit extreme.
So anyway, there we are. It's dark, and it's the weather's really, really rough.
Yeah. There's this thing glowing in the distance.
And it's like I was like on the edge of nervous. So I kept saying to Chris, "We all right?" And he'd go, "Yeah, we're all good." And he'd go, "We all right?" And I'd go, "Yeah, it's fine." And it was properly rough, and the thing was canted way over, and big waves. And the next day, we were in the transport going back from Gosport to Valley, and he went, "Oh, mate, that was rough last night. It was a little bit,
50p, 20p,
10p dustbin lid." He said, "Yeah." He said, "I was not happy." He said, "I'm bloody glad you were there." I went, "What? Just to have somebody to talk to?" He went, "Well, no, like your experience with sailing." I went,
I got a fucking clue.
I said, "No, that was my first time, and I thought you were experienced." And we just didn't know. We both didn't know anything about sailing, and thought the other person did.
Blissfully ignorant, maybe.
Yeah.
And that's what potentially got you through it,
Yeah.
Wow.
Chris knows.
That's crazy. God, I'm just thinking about pouring petrol over yourself and setting yourself on fire.
Yeah, well, don't.
It's mad.
Yeah. Hell of a way to go.
Hell of a way to go. There's just, if you're at an airbase or something, there'd be loads of other ways to go. So I always thought, if I were like, terminally ill or anything like that, I've got a couple of days left to live, it's like, you'd just nick the fastest car you possibly could and just drive it as fast as you possibly can to like a concrete barrier or something.
Yeah.
Do something like really cool. But like setting yourself on fire, I think would be quite painful, wouldn't it?
Yeah, you'd think.
Unless it isn't, don't know.
Unless it isn't, I don't know. Yeah, don't know.
I've set quite a few things on fire.
Have you?
Yeah. I just fucking idiot once. I got a, like a big syringe that you use for greasing things.
Yeah.
I just weird. When I was probably like 21, 22, and just like had one of those blank, non-entity brain moments, and I was like, this is going to be a wicked idea. Plunged this thing into this can of petrol, sucked up a load of petrol.
No.
And I had a valeting bay in Cartech, and it was this big, like, I think you call it gable ending, a big wall at the end of this long building, and it was just made out of concrete sort of slabs.
Yeah.
And I was like, that'll be fine. And I just, like a big fire hose, all this petrol over it, and then just lit it with my lighter. And
how did that work out for you?
It just fucking went up.
No shit.
But like thick black smoke, just like fuck,
acrid,
real. And I was like, I didn't expect. In my head, in my head, I just sort of expected it to just go woof, and disappear.
Yeah.
And it was just balls of flame. I was like, fuck. Thankfully, I had a fire extinguisher there and just put it up, but it didn't, because it was on concrete. It didn't set anything on fire. And it went off, but it marked the wall, and I was like, what a fucking idiot.
Did you have a word?
For myself.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did. Yeah. Set a couple of cars on fire and stuff as well. I had a Citroen AX that had the pipe that holds the fuel on.
Yeah.
From the fuel tank into the carb. Fell off, poured petrol everywhere, and then just went kaboom. And there's a couple of photos of me just like stood next to it like.
What? Who's taking the photos?
Actually, it was my house. Like my uncle and everything came out, and like, my uncle's holding. It was a great photo. My uncle's like holding like a bucket of water like this, and I'm still like that. Fuck. And like the
that was a shock.
Yeah, the real sort of annoying thing about it as well is that I lifted the bonnet up, and like I was just watching this engine pour out of it. I could have stopped it. I could have done so many things to stop this happening, but instead I just watched it. I was just like, go on then, blow up. And it fucking did. And then, but the thing that I was most annoyed about is because this is when CD players in cars, like your sort of Alpine, Sony, Kenwood. All these fucking cool things. These are when these were
Kenwood.
Just starting.
When you switch it on, it's like there's loads of lights.
God, pornography. The Alpine and Pioneer ones back in the day were. It's part of my life. Like I can see them all in my head now. I had hundreds of them, and and I remember it was because I was probably only 15 when this happened, because I was just going up and down the lane and I went on the farm that I lived at. That's how it happened. And this CD player, this was just when these were becoming cheap, and so not cheap, but like they were in Halfords for 200 quid. You could go out and buy a CD player.
Was this the ones where you could put 8 in the boot?
Yeah,
remember that?
Subs and speakers.
No, but like 8 CDs, like a stack.
Oh no!
Remember that?
Yeah.
What was that about? So you could have like 1 in the CD player, but then you could have another 8.
Yeah,
primed up.
Never used a CD changer.
Yeah,
because you just have them all in your door pocket and you just change them anyway.
Like in a big envelope with a zip round it.
Or on your sun visor. You just pull them out the sun visor. Yeah,
brilliant.
Everyone understood why you'd have them all in the boot. You know,
I
don't know which one's which.
Ben and Sophie on them.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. I've got a hilarious story about a girl called Sophie as well. Anyway, so I had this CD player in there that I'd bought, and it was the first brand new one in the box that I'd ever bought.
Right.
I'd always bought them cheap and all this sort of stuff.
Halfords.
From Halfords, and I was just like, it's the only thing I did to the Citroen X was put this thing in it, and it had a 15-inch subwoofer in the boot. The whole parcel shelf, it sounded utterly shit, because all I'd done
or buzzing.
Yeah, all I'd done is I'd cut, and the parcel shelf was made out of, it was 2 bars with like a cloth in the middle. There wasn't like any structure to it whatsoever. It's like a hammock. Parcel hammock.
That's great.
And my mate had this old 15-inch subwoofer from like a disco speaker or something like that, a house disco speaker, and I cut this hole out in this bit of cloth and just dropped this big speaker in there, and that was what it was wired to. It sounded shit, but to me it was like I was
massive
the fucking coolest guy in the world.
noise.
Yeah. But no, it sounded, could be worse. And then
that's great.
And then it sort of because the fire was all concentrated in the engine bay, it melted the back of that CD player. And I was like, so we put the fire out, and I was like, oh, thank God, a few of the things have been saved. That's great. Went to pull the CD player out, and it was like stuck, and then sort of pulled it out, and all the back of it was all burnt and melted. And I was like, fuck's sake. I don't give a shit about the car, but I was like, my fucking CD player.
Talking about fire, my stepfather, who, as we've mentioned before, had a garage and an MOT testing station, and he used to do people favours, and I remember going to the garage for something, I can't remember, and then going home. Next day, the Rover 3500 that was outside was completely
SD1.
In the same position that it was the previous day, completely burnt out.
Wow.
I said, what happened? He went, what do you mean, what happened? I said, that Rover, what happened? He went, it was burnt when it came here. No, it wasn't.
Whoa.
I saw it yesterday. He went, no, you didn't. No, you didn't.
Amazing.
Yeah, so funny. But
it's like job.
Yeah, he used to write cars off. We've talked about this.
Yeah, we are. Yeah.
But that was, either smashing them into the railway bridge just down the road, or which was like, why didn't you just burn them? But I guess you had to do couldn't always burn them, could you?
Yeah, that's true. That's weird. Isn't it? You deal with a lot of burnt cars. I was just saying, can we have a quick break?
Yeah.
Just to go and smoke a cig, and I've run out of liquid in my glass.
Yeah, that's my job. I'll do that. I'll be barman.
Okay. See you in a second. When you're sort of flying at low level in the Arctic.
What? Yes, go on.
And you fly over a group of penguins.
Yeah.
Is it true, or is this just like an urban myth that because they can't look up, when a plane goes over, they're all trying to look at it and they all fall flat on their backs?
Well, there was a standing joke in the Falklands that there was somebody whose job it was to stand the penguins back up.
To walk around and stand them back up afterwards.
Yeah, as because they watched the tornado go over the top.
Fucking brilliant.
That they stink, by the way.
What, penguins?
Yeah. God, they stink.
Just dropped my arse somewhere.
Place got Bertha's Beach, quite close to Mount Pleasant, on the Falkland Islands, and just go and walk on the beach, and you just come across a big colony of penguins.
Right.
Gen 2s, actually, and
Gen 2 penguins.
You could smell them before you could see them.
Really?
They stink of fish.
Wow.
Like it's the fishy poo, I guess. But where they hang out, in the dunes, it's just like, whoa, guys, sort this out. It's awful. Yeah.
Reminds me of one of my exes.
Stop it.
So Another thing is everything's going a bit fucking shit in the world of cars in terms of people are making things bad for no real reason. So it's one of the things that people will probably be familiar with is in Formula One removing sand traps and grassed areas, things like that, in favour of a tarmac bit with fake corners.
Yeah.
So if they go off, they just carry on driving. And what that leads to is no damage for the cars, nobody dies, but very boring races. And even some of the Formula One drivers have said if I know and I'm trying to push, I'm trying to elbows out into a corner, and I know that they can just cut the corner, and they will because I've sort of forced them out. It ruins that move as a racer, and it's not an illegal move. You can, if you're ahead of them going into the corner, you can take their line. You can do what you want. You can try and close the door on them.
Yeah.
As long as you're not doing it in a dangerous way, or you're trying to sort of you haven't passed them or anything like this. And sort of knowing that it's a massive problem, and it's just like
but hang on. So if I watch a lot of Formula One. I quite like it, actually. You're not a big fan, are you?
No,
you're
not
more of a
really,
BTC sort of guy.
Like,
But the reason I like F1 is because it's the pinnacle of performance and design. That's why I like it. It's akin to,
which I do get, and I do enjoy as well.
Love it. And it's become a lot more interesting this season, with like McLaren's back in the picture with Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri.
Oscar Peterson, famous
Oscar
jazz musician.
Yeah, he's very good. Lewis Hamilton going to move to Ferrari, which is
That's
really cool.
Max
Verstappen not just walking away with it, and what I realise he's incredibly talented, but I find him unbelievably annoying. But anyway, let's not get there.
Very annoying.
But if you do end up pushing somebody off and then they go straight ahead and then gain an advantage, they have to give that place back. So I don't really understand why it's so much of a problem. Whereas historically, you go into the gravel trap and you'd be fucked.
So that's what should happen. So the problem is I know, even if they've got to give the place back, or even if they've got to, if it slows them down or whatever, the point being is, so say for example someone's in Formula One being 2 seconds a lap faster is huge. It's amazing how much distance you can make up. Being 2 seconds a lap faster. So if someone's on fresh tyres, they're coming up really fast on you, if that happens and they've got to go wide on something, even if they've got to give the place back, whatever, it doesn't take them long to catch up again.
Yeah.
Whereas if it was a gravel trap or something, they'd have to stay behind.
Yeah.
Because otherwise the race would be over. And the problem is now the race isn't over, and it just makes everything more boring. So the reason I'm talking about this is WRC, World Rally Championships, which I get. I used to be a big rally guy, but it kind of got to a point where all the cars looked almost identical, which was a bit.
Which era are we talking about? Are we talking about Subaru? Are we talking?
So
about...
when you had your stuff like an Impreza and an Evo, that was that kind of car. They were that kind of car, but then they were racing against stuff like the Zara, the Citroen Zara, a very different looking thing, and you have the Ford Focus, the Mark 1 Focus, again a very different looking car, more of a hatchback thing, and a huge variety of cars with around the track.
Yeah, like Loeb used to be a Citroen guy, wasn't he?
Yeah,
he was amazing, wasn't he?
Absolutely, and you had this huge variety of things, and then everybody, they're all driving the Toyotas and things, and they have these massive wings and loads of aero. And all the cars look very, very similar, and I wasn't as interested in it as I was. So, what they put this post up the other day. We should probably close that door actually, shouldn't I? So just go and close.
Yeah, of course. So this is what sort of era we talk? We're not talking. So there's an amazing period for rally, wasn't there, when you had the 6R4s and the Audi Quattros came in and all that sort of stuff.
This is
after that,
everything up to probably 2005.
Lancia Strata, remember those?
Yeah, amazing. All these amazing cars, and you got to think you put a Stratus next to a Audi Quattro.
Yeah.
vastly different
Hugely
machines
looking
trying
different
to do the same thing.
Love that.
Using different methods,
Yeah.
and it's fantastic. But now, all the cars are pretty much identical. They're all doing the same thing. They're all doing it, and it's not quite as interesting. But anyway, they put this post up saying that they are going to introduce what do they call it? Virtual chicanes.
What?
And it made me almost throw up in my mouth when I saw it. But so traditionally in rallying, chicanes are if you've got a very, very fast, long straight bit. One of the things with rally cars is they top out at quite a low top speed.
Yeah.
So potentially 110, 120, something like that, and they'll sort of top out. So if you've got a massive long stretch, they're just sat there on them, doing, and they're all doing the same sort of thing. So what they did in the past is they'll put chicanes in there to slow the guys down, and then you've got to go through the chicane and you go out again. Brilliant. That worked, very, very well. As a safety thing as well, it's just, so you're not just having guys flying down the, long straights. So chicanes, brilliant. And the chicanes were made of bales of hay, big bales of hay, or whatever they get their hands on locally, logs, anything like that. Really cool. But now, because someone might accidentally crash into one of those and their race is over, so what they've done now is it's still a straight road, but you have a gantry, like a little bridge thing with a radar in it. So when the car goes through that gantry, you have to, and it's recording your speed, slow down to below 60 mile an hour.
Oh, God. I don't like that.
And then as soon as you get a light on your dashboard, right? Oh, fuck, it's making me ill. Even describing this. You've got a light on your dashboard, so the guys in the car, rally drivers, they go in, slam on the brakes. As soon as the light goes green, they've hit under 60 mile an hour, and they can accelerate again. Right?
Right.
What are we doing? What are we doing there? What is that? It's just computerized bullshit. It's just lights on dashboards and things, and just put the fucking bales of hay there. I want to see this. It's the jeopardy of the cars. If he goes into that too fast, he's going to smash it. They're not going to get hurt because they've got all the fucking gear on. They're going to be fine. The car's going to be fucked. Their race is going to be over. It could make the difference between winning a championship and not winning a championship.
Yeah.
There's no risk here. The only risk is if they don't go below that speed, don't get the green light.
Dock some points.
They can dock some time, dock some points, a few seconds or whatever, and it's just bullshit. It's such a shame.
We disagree with a lot of stuff, but I completely agree with that. Yeah. That's rubbish. There are so many different ways to do that.
So many different ways. You could make a jump.
Involves...
How good would that be? Imagine a jump in the middle. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
God, everybody would find it so much, but it's so much easier and cheaper for WRC to just go, we'll just put this in, a bit of radar tech, just chuck that in there, that'll be easy to, we don't have to get a tractor into.
Rubbish.
Total bullshit. So it's a shame that this sort of thing's happening and that, and I'm sort of, and another annoying thing that's going on really with cars. You see, we're having a bit of a weird thing at the moment, like, decisions are being made that are odd. The recent Focus video that I did on Tasty Classics.
That looks very cool, by the way.
God, I love that car. It sounds like an Audi Quattro because it's an inline 5-cylinder turbo.
Right.
Audi Quattro is an inline 5-cylinder turbo. It shares a lot of that noise. You go, oh, okay, yeah, that's very interesting.
Yeah, it's an odd noise, isn't it? Really.
Very different.
Very distinctive.
Very distinctive noise. Very distinctive noise because you've got an extra piston going. Whoa! Hello. So really, really cool. And that car's absolutely amazing. But I explained this in the video. It is the last 3-door Focus. 5-door cars are not as cool as 3-door cars.
Well, you did say this in the last one because you were on about wanting to punch the head of Ford's face in.
Yeah, and then with Ricardo going bankrupt and stuff, and all this type of thing. So it was the last sort of one of that. So that was a bit annoying. I was like, what are we going into now? We have 4-door diesel Focus STs, which we do have now.
Yeah.
It's obscene. Anyway, so I was browsing the internet, and there was quite a lot of posts recently, which you may have seen if you're listening to or watching this. Jaguar is stopping selling cars.
What?
For like a year. It's a completely mad thing, and I've got my theories on why.
Who owns Jaguar?
I think it's Tata, so it's like Land Rover and JLR Group, Jaguar Land Rover.
Oh, of course, yeah.
But I think it's all the parent company's Tata.
Yeah.
Which I don't know what they make, biscuits or something. Fucking
Are they
idiot.
steel though?
Oh,
It's
who gives
steel.
a fuck?
No,
Who gives a fuck?
it's an Indian
Making
steel company, I
Yeah,
think.
making shit decisions. So the it's awful. So with Jags are cool. You've got the Jag F-Type, the little sports car.
Yep.
You've got the F-Pace. You've got the sort of big SUV thing. You've got the what's the saloon one calls it? X. I can't remember what it's called. Anyway, so you've got a few really nice Jags, and they've pulled the plug on them all essentially, and they've gone right. All of our models, we're stopping making. So soon they're going to put the brakes on those. I think it's the end of this year, and they won't make a single one of those again. No more F-types, no more whatever. All done. And they are switching to a 3-car electric only lineup, which is the equivalent of knocking a tree down, cutting the wood out, and making your own coffin.
Well, I was going to say,
they're sealing
why are
the
they
deal
the only one committing to electric when everybody else is moving away from it?
because it was a decision that was probably made 3 or 4 years ago.
Right. It's a huge super tanker of a company, and the decision's made now.
Yeah, the decision's made, and they're going to all electric. And so my theory, so they're releasing 3 cars. One of them's going to be the SUV sort of F-Pace type sort of sized thing, electric. They're making a sporty sort of car, and they're making a like a mid-range crossover type thing. All fully electric, right? No hybrids, nothing. Fully electric. And they're going after higher markets. So they're going after. So with the SUV, they're going after the Bentley Bentegas and things. Apparently,
Well, good luck with that, because Bentley's already. I have a friend in sort of. You have a Bentley friend, but this guy was saying that they're going. Hang on. We need to rethink this electric thing.
Yeah.
So that they obviously, they're Volkswagen, aren't they?
Yeah.
And they're all going. We need to redo this, because they had completely gone down the electric route, and they've said no. This is not the way to go.
It was only a few years ago they were going. We won't be selling any more petrol cars before after 2030.
Yeah,
and that's just not the case anymore,
No,
which is great. But we're not, the environmental side of it. They're going to go down hybrid routes.
Exactly right.
There'll still be chemical stuff. But the point is, they'll still be cool as fuck, and you won't need to plug them in like your fucking mobile phone.
Not that you care about that.
Yeah, all that bullshit won't have to happen. But anyway, so Jaguar are making these cars, and my theories are on this, right? So first of all, I don't know if you know this, and I don't know if people who've maybe crossed over from Tasty Classics know this. They see some of the cars that I drive and imagine, he always drives around in shitters. My daily drivers for the last 2 years have been very high mileage Volkswagen Passats that are 15, 20 years old.
Yeah.
Which are the best cars in the world.
Yeah.
They've been Mazda MX-5s. They've been my Land Rover, which is like Blackpool Illuminations on the dashboard. These cars that are just beaters in some sort of description. Before I had the workshop, and I was just doing lots of mileage between here and between the record shop and all these other stuff, and doing up classic cars but not on YouTube, I had a brand new Jaguar E-Pace. So I bought it brand new. It was 44,000, 46,000, something like that. Real nice car. Went in, saw it. I had a BMW F11 520D, 5 Series Estate.
Yeah.
Timing chain was going on it. I knew I'd done 150,000 miles. I'd done the majority of that. One of the best cars I've ever owned. But at the time, I didn't have the time or the money to fuck about paying someone to do a timing chain on that, because it would have been up to $2,000 to have the timing chain done. I would have been without the car for probably 2 or 3 weeks. I was so busy, I was just like, I need a solution. and I just happened to be driving past the Jaguar place in Chester. I thought, I'm just going to wander and see what's going on in there.
Brilliant.
And
as a car salesman, it's like, no, I won't fall for that.
Yeah, I am a car salesman.
Yeah, I know.
You know, doing it for so long, I'm just like, I fucking great.
Yeah, I'm willing to buy today.
Yeah. So I got this. Went in, saw this E-Pace in the showroom, grey, fucking gorgeous looking car. I was like, do you know what, that's for me. Can tow with it and stuff, great. Anyway, bought it, shocking. Absolutely the worst car I've ever fucking had. One of the worst cars I've ever had. A lot of bad cars. One of the worst cars I've ever had. So many faults. It kept going back to the dealership under warranty. The stereo just didn't work. It just, all the infotainment screen would just be black. You couldn't switch it on. There was none of the buttons worked, nothing, no music, nothing, and that would just happen.
This was brand new.
6 miles on the clock when I got it. Brand spanking new. First owner. Stereo didn't even work. Fuming. And it took it back. I think it went back for the stereo 3 times before they fixed it. And the third time they completely changed everything. Took, dashboard, the whole fucking wiring thing, everything gone, put new one in. And that was fine then, and it did work. And like, the gearbox, it had this 8-speed something or other, I can't remember what it's called. It's quite a famous gearbox in a lot of things. Utterly shite. I don't know how it had been, I don't know how it had been mapped or whatever, but it was just, it didn't work. You'd go to pull out of a junction, you'd put your foot down because there was a 40 ton Arctic coming towards you. You put your, I need to get out of here, and the gearbox would go, right, what do you want to go first, or do you want second, or hang on, what do you want to do? And you'd be like, anything, there's a fucking track, oh my god, I'm going to die. And then it'd finally make up its mind and it'd go. And it did that all the time, and I complained about it, and they were like, there's software updates that are coming, and I'm just like, what the fuck, And then loads of other little bits like trim would fall off, and just generally
really bad.
Really bad. So that sort of completely ruined not just Jag but new cars for me. I was like, fucking, I can't do this. I can't live this life. I wanted the new car because I wanted complete reliability
and a bit of kudos.
I needed to go to work and back. I just needed to go to work and back. I couldn't go and sit in the fucking Jaguar dealership and talk to them and have some idiot going, do
you like a coffee?
Busy? Yeah, do you want a coffee? So how's things? Do you like the car? Have you thought about it? I'm like, mate, your car's shit.
Go away.
Yeah, fix my fucking car. Anyway, I pulled a worldie on that. I sold it during COVID when car prices were mega, and I had it on PCP, and I got $4,000 more for it than I owed, which was insane.
That's
because
I'd
done 16,000 miles in it, 20,000 miles in it, something like that, and the car prices rocket. We buy any car. I just walked in. I was like, "Are you sure?" And they were like, "Yeah." I was like, "Okay, give me the money." Yeah. So that was crazy. But anyway, so my theories are that Jaguar Land Rover as well. They're I think on all these online ratings and stuff, they're the least reliable cars out there. They've been hit with so many warranty claims that it's just not profitable for them to sell their cars. They're selling these cars and they're just coming back all the time. It's just not profitable for them to sell them, which is bonkers. By the time that everything's been paid for, it's just like we might as well just not bother. Or probably, and they've got a huge amount of stock that they can't sell.
Yeah,
which is usually the case. If someone says I'm not making any new
That's
cars
normal though, isn't it? That's normal. You aren't there these places in.
But you wouldn't stop making them.
No, no. Well, that's what I mean. It's normal to have a massive amount of stock, isn't it? There's this place north of Northampton. What's it called? Where they have a place where they just park thousands of cars.
Like there's Grimsby and stuff. Grimsby's the big dock where they all come over from like Germany. So, but Jaguar,
anyway.
they're built in the UK anyway.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
But yeah, so they're just like, we're not doing this anymore. We're not building them. So they've probably got a huge amount of cars that they can't shift, which is a case with a lot of car makes at the moment. You look at the BMWs, Mercedes, and all that sort of stuff. They've got a lot of electric cars they can't shift.
Funny that.
Which is weird, You know, these cars, you know, that you go in, you buy a brand new car. It's not a brand new car. It was made 18 months ago.
Yeah.
You know, it's been sat in a field for 18 months. Underneath of it's probably rotten.
Yeah.
It's very, very interesting. You know, we used to get cars off the transport and the brake discs would be brown, like, you know, and it'll be exactly the same case with these, even worse. And so they've probably got a lot of stock that's sat on the cart shift. So they're like, we're going to try and sell these out before we start making these electric things, and we can change all the factories around and all that sort of stuff in the time to make it all work. And they're potentially a real company on its sort of death throes, like, you know.
Yeah, shame that.
Massive shame, because Jaguar, you know, you haven't got loads of sort of British car manufacturers left. You've got a couple, you know, you got your Bentleys, Astons, and things, but
huge racing heritage.
Huge, and they have made some bloody great cars, like, God, you know, really good cars. And they're
it's the obvious one, isn't it? E-Type is amazing.
Oh, absolutely, XJ220, man.
Yes,
the coolest fucking car of all time, you know. And they've just got this huge, you know, and even like the modern ones, the F-Type is a wicked car.
Yeah.
It's so good. And they're just throwing it all away, and I don't get it. I don't get that. And, you know, every company, it's like I was saying on the Ford video as well. They're all run by accountants, and like Ford now go into like the electric Mustang, the electric Capri. The Capri, it's a blob.
It's horrible. I think the Mustang is quite a nice looking car. It happens to be electric. I know that's.
But
triggers
you. They're doing the petrol V8 proper Mustang as well, so that's fair, isn't it? You know what I mean? We can give them that one.
Yeah.
And if they were doing the same with the Capri, it's like, oh, here's electric Capri SUV, but we're also doing a little sporty coupe.
That Capri is horrible.
Yeah.
Horrible.
It's just a fucking melted blob of butter, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's disgusting, and it's a big shame, and they're all sort of going down that route, and Jag probably in the death throes, and I don't know. They're going to make all these electric cars. They're going to try and work off very high margins and very low sales numbers. You know, if they're going after Bentegas, you know, they're talking they're going to charge $250,000 for an SUV Jag. Yeah, that's what they want to go to. Yeah, and it makes a little bit of sense when you look at like America as a market.
Yeah. And they all do, by the way.
Yeah, of course, it's huge. Yeah. They're not, you know, we probably, you know, don't even compare to, you know, a handful of their states put together.
Yeah.
But over there, people see Land Rovers and Jaguars and all this sort of stuff, and as very, you know, cool European cars, and the luxury and the prices of them are very, very high over there. You know, these imports. Whereas over here, it's not like that. Jags have been. Everybody's had a Jag. You know, everybody's dad's had Jags. You know, they're just. You know, they're not cheap cars, but they're not prohibitively expensive.
Yeah.
You know,
it's a real shame that.
Real shame.
Because that's a mark that is very British. I know it's not. But who else has sold their sort of? Can you imagine BMW selling their name to an Indian steel company?
It never happened. It's bonkers.
It would never happen.
Audi, you know, it's just like the Mercedes Benz. Imagine it. It's so weird how.
But we have,
yeah. And so it's a shame about all that. I'm annoyed about it, and I hope that I don't know. Maybe we're I don't know. Are we going on one of those things where it's got to get bad before it starts getting really good again?
Yeah, I think so. I think everything's cyclical. I do believe that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm a pathological optimist anyway. But you know, it's yeah.
Are we going to? You know, it'd be awesome if in, say, 10, 15 years, we start seeing this sort of renaissance of like real cool drivers cars, you know, no speakers for exhausts, you know, real sort of proper
speakers
things.
For exhaust.
Yeah,
that's horrible.
That's a real pity. Speakers for exhausts. Whoever thought of that. There's a lot of people.
Who thought of that?
Yeah, just lock them in a room and fill it with water or something. I don't know. So yeah, that was my thing that I wanted to talk about, really. Just
I like it.
I'm not always complaining. There's a lot of good stuff going on with cars, but all I've read this last week has been this stuff.
You do read it as
virtual
well, don't
chicanes.
you? You are up to date. You do have a finger on the pulse of the car market, so fair play.
I try to, yeah. Try to.
Not like that in airplanes. I think it's what I like about airplanes. It's never form over function. It has to. So the things are the shape they are. For example, they look like they look for a reason.
Yeah.
Because there's the aerodynamics, all that sort of stuff, and I like that. It's quite purist in some ways, isn't it?
Yeah,
you know, you can't say, "Oh well, I'm going to put this big like lump on the
body kit on this horse."
Yeah, I'm going to put some, you know, I'm going to put a wing on it here because it looks good. It's like, why would you do that? It can't work.
What about the inside?
Yeah, that. Oh well, it depends what they're for. So military aircraft are incredibly functional. That's all. That's what they're about. So that switch is there because that's ergonomically the best place to put it. I'm talking about modern stuff. Historically, that wasn't the case. It was like, where is that? Where's
yeah,
it's back there.
Yeah. Where's the key?
Yeah, and when you're flying an instrument, for example, the whole idea is that you concentrate on these. It's called a selective radial scan. So your world is the artificial horizon. So there's a ball basically thing that shows you if you go up, down.
That's in Grantham.
That's your world, and the selective radial scan is you are staring at that. That is your world. It doesn't matter what's going on outside. You're in cloud. You can't see anything anyway. So that's your world, and then you'll glance up at your speed. You'll glance up at altitude, your rate of climate descent, all that sort of stuff. But you always come back to that. So that's the idea.
Would like any of the modern fighter jets or anything? Would they have an equivalent of sort of cruise control in any way?
Yeah, they will now. So autopilot's very normal now. But
anything when you were flying them?
I never flew anything with autopilot. You had to fly it all of the time.
That's
so
cool.
Wessex helicopter, Gazelle, Puma, Hawk, T-37, they all. You had to fly them all of the time, which I quite like in a way.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, but anyway, what was I crapping on about? Yeah, so that whole idea of everything being ergonomically perfect. So what you want to do, so your inner ear reacts to things, and you can get a thing called the leans. So you can be looking at the instrument panel. It can be a night, bad weather, you're bouncing around, and your body, your ears are telling you, it's like we're at that angle. And
like from the liquid in your ears?
Yeah, it's just saying, we're like that and we're all going to die.
Wow,
and
okay.
You have to look at that and go, shut up, brain, that is the truth. Wow. You have to believe your instruments. That's so hard. It's called the leans. Wow. It's a thing called the leans.
So
and it's killed lots of people.
Why does that happen?
It's the liquid in your inner ear. And the same things happened with acceleration. So like jets with loads of thrust on the runway at night. Loads of people have felt this. So you push the throttles through the gate and you get afterburner. And you're rushing down the runway, and it feels like you're about it. So the hairs. Bear in mind, humans are not supposed to be flying around in airplanes.
Someone said a while ago, we're talking about car crashes, that humans aren't designed to go above like 7 miles an hour.
Yeah, well, exactly. Yeah. So, and you take that one step further. We're supposed to be in a 2D environment, and now we're in a 3D environment.
You go up.
So you're being pushed forward so far that the liquid in your inner ears, like there's little hairs, and it feels like you're going up and up and up and up. If you've got no visual references, so in the day, it might feel like that. And you glance outside, and that's incredibly powerful. As soon as you go, no, I'm fine, and it all resets it. So it's good. Oh God, I'll come back to you later when it's night. And then at night, it feels like you're going like nearly vertical, And
but you're going up a bit, but just at high speed.
But it feels like your head's going back and you're going vertical.
Wow.
And people have died because they pushed over because of this. It's such a strong feeling, and they just flown into the ground. So they think they're going from vertical to a reasonable amount, but they're actually going from that to nose down, and they've crashed. So that happened a lot. That physiological sort of impact of flying.
So was that quite? How quickly did you learn to control that or to get over it, or is it something that you have to do every single time?
Well, the leans you have. So first of all, it's through education. So you're taught about it. Right. So in flying training now, they said, "Oh, this can happen." You go, "Oh, okay. I know what this is. This is the leans."
Yeah.
So you might feel like you're flying along sort of like on a knife edge, but actually you have to ignore that completely and just look at your instruments and say, I'm not. And it's really hard. It's horrible. Really horrible.
Yeah,
because looking at those instruments, your brain's going, well, if you want to die, it's up to you. But, go ahead. Believe your eyes if you want, but your ears are telling you you're going to die.
Any cases of those instruments failing, like?
Well, so the main instruments, so like the artificial horizon, you'll have a standby one up to the, quite close by. So when you've got something like the leans, when you think that it's all lies, you can glance at the standby one. And you go, oh no, those two are exactly the same. They're completely
both can't fail.
No, they're completely independent systems.
Nice.
So you can just glance at one and go, no, it's true. So, yeah.
It's pretty quite a quick decision was made to put two in the cab.
Yeah.
We should probably have a second one up there just in case. Good shout.
Yeah, but
maybe a third.
Flying on instruments is a very it's an amazing skill because you can take off. You can go into cloud at 200 feet. You can basically, even before you've got the wheels up, and almost you're in cloud. Gear up, flaps up on instruments. You can fly for like 300 miles, see nothing, and the next thing you see after talking to air traffic control is you pop out the cloud and there's a runway.
Wow.
And you've seen a runway and a runway. And so
have you ever had any situations where you've missed the runway? You've come out of the cloud and you're not where you thought you were?
Yeah, I have. From a fucking shit precision PAR, precision aircraft. I can't remember what PAR stands for. Basically, you're talked down.
Right, okay.
And the RAF air traffic controllers are amazing. It's incredible. They talk you down. It's so precise. And with a nice calm voice, it's like you're on the glide slope, and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
You're slightly below the glide slope, all that sort of stuff. They talk you down. I had an American talk down, and we came out of the cloud. Oh, I came out of the cloud, and it says decision height. You hit decision height, and you decide, have I got visual references? Like there's the runway. There's key things to that. There are so many tick boxes, if you like, that is a good visual reference. You can see the runway, all that sort of the lights, if it was at night. Came out and I go, you look up and you need visual references. Otherwise, you just shove the throttles forward and you go around and back into the cloud, and then you'll go around and try again, or you might divert you have enough fuel to divert to another airfield. Yeah, with the weather's better. So you come down. Normally, especially with the RAF air traffic controllers, you come out and they said approaching decision height, and you look up, and there's the runway right where you'd expect it to be. And you go to, so they're a different frequency, they're a talk down, so they need to get ready to talk to the next airplane down because they'll be busy.
Yeah, of course.
So you go, visual going to tower, and then you speak to the visual tower. Let's say tower with you, short finals to land, and you're speaking to the literally, the glass box.
They're watching you.
And that lot. So I can't remember where it was. Where would it have been? It was Lake in Heath or somewhere. I can't. but they're pretty good. Anyway, it was definitely an American controller, and first of all, it was all a little bit shit. It was like, yeah, you're coming down good, and I'm thinking, all that sort of stuff. And anyway, pop out cloud, decision height, and go approaching decision height. I look up, and there's nothing, and then there's a runway over there.
Wow.
It's like, hang on a minute, and so they have to pull around the corner. So I have had a bad one, but what it illustrated to me was how good the RAF air traffic controls are. They're amazing.
Yeah.
So cool. And you can, so at 200 feet, which is the decision height, that's when you make your decision whether you're going to land or go around.
Right,
and that is set in stone. And if the weather's really shit, this isn't official, this is probably not true, you can say to the RAF air traffic controller, because they're supposed to go decision height, and then it's over to you, and you go, keep talking, and they go, and so basically they'll keep talking below decision height, and then so say the cloud base is 200 feet, you have to be able to see the runway. You say keep talking, and all of a sudden another 100 feet, and there's the runway. But that's like but they're so precise. Keep talking.
So have you ever I'd imagine bad weather, because you see it all the time, affects large aeroplanes and ships and things from docking at airports. Is it the case with like the fighter jets and stuff? Do you get thwarted by heavy winds and stuff?
Yeah, you can get crosswinds.
And that affects a little fighter jet, like
hugely. So somewhere like RAF Valley, it's right on the coast.
It's very windy.
If you've got like 30 mile an hour wind directly across the runway, it's horrible, because when you pop out in that scenario, when you pop out of cloud, and it's like you're looking out the side window, and you come down and you kick the rudder. When you kick the rudder, you get a roll effect. So you have to kick the rudder, roll the stick left, line up with the runway, and hit down, and then you hold the stick hard over, and it feels horrible. It skips around, and then once it's settled down, it's fine. But
fucking hell.
Crosswind is horrible, especially if the runway, and it normally is because the weather's shit, if the runway's wet.
So that was the next question. What if it's absolutely hammering it down with like torrential, thunderstormy rain?
Yeah.
Does that not affect, like?
You can get aquaplaning. You can.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Because they're not.
So how do you stop it then? Like how you? Because a lot. So stopping a hawk, if the runway is saturated and it's coming down, you've got 3 brakes on the tyres, in the wheels.
Just two main
so
wheels.
So the front wheels, no
brakes?
Nothing.
It's just in a hawk. It varies, but it's just a cast-ring nose wheel.
Well, okay.
So it just
like a trolley.
Yeah. So it's independent braking on the main wheels to manoeuvre on the ground.
That's 2 pedals on the floor, left and right.
Yeah, but so they're independent brakes.
So have you got flaps? What else have you got?
Well, so there's a few ways that you can do aerodynamic braking, because you're going quite quickly. What you can do is hold the nose wheel off, and you're basically exposing the underside of the jet.
So you're using that
to
as
a lot. You can do that. That was very normal in a T-38 on big runway. So the T-38, but there were very long runways in America. So something like
got a lot more space, haven't they?
Yeah, they've got a bit more space, and they're so wide. So 150 foot is about normal width of a runway.
Right. Okay.
But theirs were 300, so you even used to take off using half the runway, not in the middle, because they're so fucking huge.
Yeah.
Everything's bigger in Texas, isn't it?
It is.
Not everything. But
not everything.
Brakes wise.
So how when you first touch down onto the runway, how fast are you going?
Well, it depends how much fuel you've got on board and what sort of aeroplane. So the most extreme, and if you practice flapless landing, so if the flaps don't work, you still have to be able to land. So it's a much shallower approach, but you can touch down, but you're also going faster.
Yeah.
The extreme of that was the T-38, because it's got tiny little wings. A flapless approach in a T-38, you touch down at 200 knots, which is like mental. That's
so you're touching down at
240 mile an hour or something. That's when you're touching.
Fuck.
But that's in a flapless approach in a T-38. For the Hawk, I can't remember, 110 knots. Yeah, somewhere around 110, so maybe 140, 50 mile an hour, something like that, when you touch down.
That's not as fast as I thought,
No,
then,
it's
really,
not.
because you can slow a car down from that quite quickly.
Yeah, absolutely.
But obviously, a plane's a lot heavier than a car.
Yeah, and
so,
you've got the
you know.
crosswind thing going on, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And you also have, if it all goes to a ball of rat shit, you've got a barrier at the end, and you can call for the barrier. And,
Right.
And
What's the barrier?
So it's a big net that goes up on arms like that.
Wow.
Yeah.
To catch you.
To catch
I had no idea that was a thing.
Yeah.
What's that made out of?
Webbing, like it's literally intertwined webbing about that thick, but it'll just catch you, and it's got wires. What's it called? Wire cables that go back into a paddle in a very viscous solution. So as you go into it, it'll spin those up, but it
slows you down.
slows you right down. They used to have
too forceful.
Are
I certainly imagine it'd probably do a bit of damage to the plane, wouldn't it? But not
at that point
not
you want to
loads,
stop,
like.
don't you? It's
Yeah. Fuck the plane.
Yeah, but we used to.
I don't know if you know this, but how fast could you go into one of those? What if you had, for example, brake failure?
Yeah, well, that's what it was for,
Wow,
but I can't remember. It did have a limiting speed, but there is a point at which you go into the barrier, and it's like, well, all bets are off at this point. Yeah, but you had to duck. You had to sort of duck as you go in, because just in case
Anything
it
goes through the screen.
Yeah.
Shit.
But there's at Warton, just outside Blackpool, they have a cinder pit, which is. Have you ever seen those lorry
like
shoot
a
off
lorry
going down a
runoff?
really steep hill? They had a fucking massive cinder pit that I wasn't convinced about, to be honest.
Yeah.
We were talking about Formula 1 cars, weren't we? It's very similar gravel track.
There was a really interesting case not that long ago, a few years ago, of that American truck driver who a horrific video of all the cars have come to a stop on this motorway. Traffic's held up, everything's come to a stop, and he's going in his massive Arctic wagon, which, I don't know what tonnage they are in the States, but I'd imagine probably a bit heavier than ours over here, because they're just a lot bigger, aren't they? And so he's thundering down, and he's going quicker than normal because he's got complete brake failure, so the brakes just aren't working at all, and smashing, kills shitloads of people, and big fiery foot, but he survives.
Did he?
He survives. So kills all these people, because he's up in the truck, isn't he? And all these cars are bouncing off the side of this truck and just obliterating people. So the case was that he was not liable because he'd had complete brake failure.
Okay.
And it was the responsibility of the truck owner and all that sort of, because he was just a driver and all this sort of thing. So they were arguing for that, and it was like, I think he'd still get a bit of a sentence for something, but not like a bad sentence or anything.
Yeah.
But the problem was that back up the road at the top of the hill, there was one of those runoff areas.
Oh, he didn't use it.
And he didn't use the runoff area. And their argument was, you weren't paying attention, you left it too long, you could have used the runoff area, and because of that, you're going to prison for the rest of your life.
Oh, wow.
Which is, and there's videos of him in court, he's just bawling his eyes out, as you would, he's like, I can't believe that this has happened, I'm going to prison for the rest of my life, I was a fucking truck driver.
Yeah. Why is it American trucks have those long bonnets on the front?
Just showing off, aren't they?
when a lot of, trucks in this country are flat-fronted, aren't they?
Yeah.
What's that? Is the engine back behind? It must be.
Yeah. So it's British or European trucks are mid-engine rear-wheel drive, and American trucks front-engine rear-wheel drive. But it's all to do with space, isn't it?
It's a very different look, isn't it?
They're so fucking cool.
Do you like them?
Oh, I think they're awesome. I went to Auto Electricians a while ago, and someone had imported one. It's just this massive old, I don't know what it was, some big fucking Kenworth or something like that, you know. I just stood next to it, just like, fuck, I'd give anything to drive this. It's the coolest fucking thing in the world. But yeah, it's just that, you know, we haven't got as much space on the roads and stuff, so if you get rid of all of that, you've gained a car's length, you know.
Yeah.
So it's just like make them all smaller and, you know. But we still have some cool trucks.
Aerodynamics aren't a problem in America. They never thought about that, do they? Everything's square.
But aerodynamics aren't really important in a truck anyway.
I guess so.
You know, because you're only doing 60 mile an hour, and how are you going to make, you know, 60 pallets of, you know, soil or something aerodynamic? You can't. It has to be a big square.
Although you do see lorries with a sort of an aero thing up top of the cab.
Sort of bollocks,
do you think?
Yeah, I think it'll
make a little bit.
It'll make a smidge of difference. Like make a little bit. Again, if it was that might make 5% difference at 55, 60 mile an hour. But if you got that truck up to 80 mile an hour, it'd make a huge difference then. But I don't think it makes like tons of difference, you know. Because it's at the end of the day, it's a huge fucking slab, isn't it?
Slab?
You know, big slab.
Yeah, why isn't it slightly rounded?
Have you seen that video of the car that gets caught underneath the front of the lorry?
No.
Girl in a Clio.
Shit.
So coming out of services on a motorway, and the lorry is waiting to pull out onto the motorway, and it's like the traffic's really heavy, so they're going really slow, and she cuts in front of him, doesn't realise that the lorry's there because they're quite hard to spot. Cuts right in front of him, and
is she side on and he just keeps going?
He nudges her and gets silent, but because they can't see underneath, they can't see down there, he can't see this little fucking Clio, ends up sending her down the M25 or wherever it was.
Sideways?
For about, I don't know, loads of miles. Everybody's screaming, beeping, there's a fucking car there, and he's like probably listening to us on the radio. And why is everybody fucking beeping and waving at me? Weird.
I'm listening to this amazing podcast. Yeah. So engine-wise, something like a Scamel, I don't know, I'm making it up now, Scania, whatever. Yeah. What size are those significantly big engines?
They are big, yeah, but they're only like V8s and stuff.
Are they?
Yeah, straight sixes and V6s and stuff. So they're not like crazy. They're not like V20s or anything mad. They're only V8s, and I think they are big capacities, 10 litres, 11 litres, something like that. But I'm not 100% au fait with it all. Like
so, it's a torquey thing. That's what they want, don't they?
Yeah, but like a big V8 Scania, big capacity V8 Scania, they're the boys. Like they shift.
And I guess it's hooked up to how many gears in the gearbox? Because they seem to do a 3 foot in first and then 6 foot in second. Yeah. There's a lot of that going on.
Have, like from what I've sort of seen, maybe like 500 RPM of power.
Okay.
So you've got like on your rev counter, it's not like a car. You've got like it'll just be like a green area, then a red area, and you've just got to keep within the green. And the green might be 1,000. You've got 1,000 RPM to work with.
Oh, that's right.
So that's why they're changing gear so fast, because it's boom, 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 boom. You know, you're going all the way through these because you've only got 1,000. Where in a car, you've got 7,000.
And apparently 27 gears.
Yeah, they have loads. But yeah, big, crazy automatic gearboxes and stuff now.
Yeah,
which is great, isn't it? But like, you see some of the videos and like of people when they drive these old trucks to shows and stuff, and they're fucking mixing the big pot of porridge in the middle. They're going through all these gears and double clutching and stuff.
What's the little? They've got some of them have like a pull-up thing on the gear lever. What's that?
Well, I think that's from going from your like what I would call. I think it's like high range and low range.
Oh, okay.
So you've got like
is that like 2 gearboxes in effect?
So I think if you've got 16 gears, you have 8 low and 8 high.
Okay.
I think. But you can do a lot of gear skipping, I think. So if you've got an empty trailer, you can probably go 1st, 4th, 6th, 8th, 12th, and then you're in top gear. I don't think you need to sort of go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All the way. You can skip a lot of gears. I think that's mainly for sort of, if you've got a big heavy load and you need to stay at a certain speed.
It's quite cool, that.
It's really
cool. It's a different world. If you've never been in it, don't know anything about like lorries,
Yeah.
trucks. I
I'd
don't know
love to
any.
drive one.
Would you?
Oh, fucking hell, yeah.
Oh, truck racing, that's mental.
It is absolutely crazy.
And they're not going slowly either, are they?
No, they love it over in Germany. The Nürburgring, there was a truck racing event on when I went recently, but I was too busy having fun to go. But in the museum there, when I went in a couple of times ago, they had a racing truck there that you could sort of climb in and look around, all sorts of turbos the size of a fucking dustbin, like, mega turbos.
Yeah.
And, these huge exhausts, and the exhausts are that big.
I know.
And nuts, they're absolutely massive. I'm probably holding them with 30-centimetre hands.
Yeah.
But they're just absolutely mental. And you're looking in the cab and all that sort of stuff, and it's just. It does look just like a truck, but with some like nets and bucket seats and stuff. It's really fucking cool. I'd love to have a go. I'd absolutely love to have a go.
Sort of growing up with motorbikes, engines do fascinate. I must admit, and I do. There's
symphony, an orchestra of parts.
But I love two-strokes. I had a little moped, an AP50 Suzuki moped, and changing the rings on that, because it's so much about, if you lose any compression, there's shit, because it's 50cc, isn't it? Yeah. And then you go up through that and all the way up, and then for me with aeroplanes, the Rolls-Royce Merlin, the noise that makes.
I love the aeroplane engines that are the circle of cylinders.
Oh yeah.
Like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah,
who designed that? Like,
who thought that up?
Yeah, really cool though. Just
yeah,
it's great.
Really
awesome.
Cool. I've got a video. I don't know if I've got it. If I have, I'll put it on. But of the Battle of Britain memorial flight, we've talked about that before. That have Spitfires and Hurricanes, and they have a Lancaster, and that's got 4 Rolls-Royce Merlins, and there was recently they said doing an engine run, and just that you'd go and watch that, wouldn't you?
Oh fucking hell!
RF Coningsby.
In my hand.
You know what I thought you just said? And just 4 Rolls-Royce Merlins just starting up. The noise is incredible.
Amazing. Imagine. Can you do the plugs on those for us?
Yeah.
Oh, fucking hell. Right, okay.
V12, is it? No, V.
Take you a couple of days,
million.
Yeah. But I think, they're super cool. I fucking just love them.
I think you either get that or you don't.
Yeah, and this is why, it's everything with these electric motors is fucking shit, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because traditionally, electric motors are used to turn the glass plate in your microwave with your microwavable curry on. And that's what that's for. Yeah, they're there for that. Or the record on your record player. That's what they're for. Not for making my car go.
I like how you glanced at the authentic deck to play vinyl in your bar.
Yeah.
None of your Spotify in here.
No Spotify in here. We boot people out, don't we? When they you get these pissed people. Like, can I plug my phone in? Can you play this? You're like, fucking get out. Get out. Plug your phone into Wetherspoons.
Yeah, that's true. You have had when Bell was working, had people going, what you need, right, is a speaker, because then you could play anything you want.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Thanks for that.
Maybe we don't want to play anything you want to play. Maybe we want to play good stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
This incredibly well curated record collection that we've got up there. It's a liquid thing as well. It's always changing.
It's a thing of beauty.
Bringing stuff down every week and changing stuff. Got Mr. Scruff record there, late night stuff.
That must have been late night.
Must have been late night. They had a really good weekend this weekend. It was dead busy for them.
Yeah.
Friday night was our busiest Friday night since the start of the sort of, as we call it, the summer period. So start of probably end of March, really, which was awesome. And it's potentially a good sort of, you're going into winter and stuff now, because winter's our busiest period.
Yeah.
So, but you were here on Saturday afternoon. It was rammed.
Yeah, it's great. Best bar in Chester.
It is, absolutely.
And on that note,
thanks very much for watching. Thanks very much for listening. If you've enjoyed it, please hit the subscribe button, because that really helps us out. Because if we get to 1,000 subscribers, we can ask YouTube to monetize the channel, and then they can pay us for doing this. Because at the moment we don't get any money, which means that all of this equipment and gear has to come out of our pocket. And if YouTube give us money, we can upgrade all this stuff, and then we can sound better than we sound now.
Imagine that.
Great,
is that possible?
See you soon.
Cheers.